Hey there. So, this is going to be a pretty quick one as well. Um, I think that I'm not going to be able to get back to Rosemary tonight. Um, I was having these weird dreams last night, and it's just, it's like every time I started to fall asleep, I would start dreaming about this, like these woods that I've never been to. And I was walking around in the woods and I was trying to get somewhere. I don't remember exactly where I was trying to get, but it seemed very important at the time. Um, but it's like I kept walking in circles. It felt like I was going straight through the woods, but I kept ending up back in the same spot. But also, every time I passed through that spot, it was like everything was different. Um, anyway, you ever have those dreams where you, like, your mind is just stuck on some unsolvable problem and when you wake up you're just completely exhausted? It's like you didn't actually dream, but it's like your mind was actually doing something somewhere else all night. I mean, that's kind of like the night that I had, and I don't know. If I had a strong cup of coffee, I think I might be able to solve these ciphers. Um, it's a little late in the day for that. I don't want to risk having another sleepless night. Um, but I do have a few updates. First of all, I said I was going to be back later tonight, and I want to make good on that. Um, and then two things that I think are going to be very important in solving this one. One, I did find this cipher that was mentioned the first page of Liam's journal. It's a little hint. It says, "What he taught me in case I forget." And we've got a little tic-tac-toe board with the letter A in the corner. And this is a very common cipher, or very easy. I shouldn't say it's a very common one, but it's very easy because you don't need like any external sources to solve it. It's basically like if you were to transmit a message using Morse code. Um, let's see. This book calls it Pigpen. Uh, Here. This is the Conjurer's Almanac, which is a book about magic. It is like a practical guide to magic, but it also has a lot of ciphers and riddles and hidden text in it. There's a very handy guide to some common ciphers in the back of the book as a reference. And this one they call Pigpen, and definitely is recognizable in Liam's dad's letters. What is his name? Hunter? It doesn't. I don't think it's Hunter. What is it? Hudson. Yeah, Hudson. Reading it was like a punch in the gut. All right, so Hudson had also left some notes, and in Hudson's notes, there's definitely this Pigpen cipher is present there. I keep wanting to turn it upside down. I have the camera flipped vertically here because it's on the other side of my table here. So I have it flipped vertically and mirrored so that you can see it. I keep wanting to turn it around for the camera, but of course, then it would be upside down for both of us, and it would be completely useless. So I should be able to easily decipher these notes tonight. And then also, my daughter, she's 2, and she was drawing something in a notebook that I think might be relevant to this case. I mean, it would be a weird coincidence, but you take a look at these drawings that she made and tell me this is not somehow related to the Blair Witch. So I just wanted to share those. And I figure the other thing we can look through tonight is this Burkittsville History Museum pamphlet. Because even if we don't end up deciphering everything tonight, we'll at least have been able to read through all of the primary materials. There's also that website, which might contain some more information. And actually, on that topic, let's take a look. That podcast, Super Neutral. I remember that they had an episode about the Blair Witch that I haven't listened to yet. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over how this Pigpen cipher works, and I'm going to start deciphering it. And while I'm doing that, we can listen to this Super Neutral episode. So I just need I've got a piece of paper here. I mean, it's a shame to put all of this blank paper in Liam's notebook to waste, but I mean, that would feel wrong, right? That would be like pissing on a dead man's grave or something. So we're going to just do it in a little piece of scratch paper. And I think I'm going to end up getting a little notebook for this case. All right. So the way that the Pigpen cipher works, it's pretty straightforward. And actually, I'm going to, rather than flipping back and forth with this book, I'm going to copy it down here. So the way that it works is you draw a tic-tac-toe grid and a second one, and you just start writing the letters in it. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, and then this one incorporates numbers, but you can also do it without, where it just is like this, like a little X. S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z, like that. And then in the second duplicated matrices, you put dots. So like that, like that. It's not very neat. I didn't leave enough room for the dots, but you kind of get the idea. So then let's say I wanted to write the message, hello world, right? So I would look for the H on these matrices, and that's down here, the bottom middle of the tic-tac-toe. So I would then, for the letter H, I would just draw the outlines of that cell, I guess. And then the E would be the middle box of the tic-tac-toe. So I'd just do a complete enclosed box. L would be this top right of the second one, and that one has a dot in it. And then another one, and the O is like that with a dot. That would be hello, and then world is the little X. The top of the X with a dot. The O we've already done. It looks like that. The R looks like that. The L looks like that. And then the D looks like that. And so this would mean hello world. So I am 100% positive that this is the cipher system that Hudson was using in these letters that he wrote right before his child was born. And it's kind of funny because I'm assuming he's older than Liam is at this point. But Liam seems to be much better at using these kinds of things, even though he learned them from his dad. Like I said, this is a very simple cipher, which is good for me because I'm terrible at this kind of thing. I don't know why or how even Rosemary thought that I would be the good one to help her with this, but I mean, I guess I've been helping so far, so we'll see. All right, so I'm going to start deciphering this. So like, for instance, there is the first symbol here is like this. It's the bottom right of the tic-tac-toe, and we know that is I. So I would decipher that as I, and then F, E, L, I bet it's a T. Yeah, T. I felt. I. N. All right, and so forth. So it's so far the message is I felt in. So I'm going to start deciphering this, and while I do that, we're going to listen to this first episode of Superneutral. And then once I've deciphered this whole thing, we can read back the portions of the letter that were in code.
Welcome to Super Neutral,
We did that one
paranormal
already.
podcast that pits a believer. Super Neutral, the bite-sized paranormal podcast that pits a believer. That's me, Ed Barrett.
Against a skeptic. That's me, James Durant.
On this minisode, we're going to talk about the legend of the Blair Witch.
Right. Now this is interesting, because I only became aware of the Blair Witch a few years ago when you told me the story.
Really? That was the first time you heard the story?
Uh-huh. But before we get into it, maybe you should quickly explain exactly what the legend is.
Yeah, okay, sure. So, for those of you out there who don't know already, in a small town called Burkittsville out in Maryland, there's a story that stretches back over 200 years. They say that some local children accused an old woman of taking their blood. The townsfolk insisted that this woman was guilty of witchcraft. They tried her, found her guilty, and depending on who you believe, they either abandoned her in the woods or executed her by hanging.
And don't they say that she came back a year later to exact her revenge or something like that?
Yeah. She said to have returned to steal away those children that had accused her in the first place. Since then, basically, people in Burkittsville always blame the witch when someone goes missing, which, to be fair, seems to happen pretty frequently.
Yeah, just a few weeks ago, a terrible disappearance struck the town of Burkittsville.
Yeah, it was a teenager named Liam Kent. Horrible stuff. There's already a lot of speculation that the Blair Witch was to blame.
Okay, so should I just go ahead and assume you believe in the Blair Witch?
You can't argue with the stats, James. I showed you the list of disappearances in those woods. Children drowned in an inch of water. college kids going missing on a hike never to be seen again. It goes on and on.
I'll book the tickets right now.
No thanks. I'm just saying. There's a laundry list of people the witch has taken, you know?
So, listen, I realize that I'm supposed to be the skeptic in all things here, but I have to admit, I found myself really getting into this story.
It's fascinating. There's so much to talk about in the legend of the Blair Witch. We'd need months to do it all justice.
Without a doubt, without a doubt. But briefly, I have notes here about a serial killer from the 40s who blamed the witch for his murders. Stories of horrible rituals being conducted in the woods. It's all really fascinating. There's so many different terrible things people try to get away with by saying the witch made me do it.
If there are really that many awful things happening in Burkittsville, what makes you so sure that there isn't something evil causing it all to happen? Something, I don't know, as yet unexplained?
Well, for one thing,
By your own admission, a lot of people have gone missing there, right?
well, hey, I'm glad you said that because I looked it up. And according to recent data, you are no more likely to go missing in Burkittsville than really anywhere else in the United States.
Is that true?
I have it right here.
Huh. Well, this could mean a lot of things.
Such as,
Well, for starters, we know that there are other entities across the country that could explain the other disappearances, right? Bigfoot, the Bugman, things like that.
well, I think that's about as good a place as any to wrap it up.
Come on, I'm serious.
Thanks for listening to this mini episode of Super Neutral. We hope you enjoyed this quick debate on the believability of the Blair Witch.
They say she's out there protecting her woods. If you find yourself traveling to Burkittsville, Maryland to investigate the Blair Witch, the best piece of advice I've heard is this: don't go into the woods after dark.
So we'll see you in the next minisode. But until that time comes, it's safe to turn out the lights.
Or is it?
Oh, that's not right. This. S I L V E R. But that's going to be MOON THE. The very next. I'm betting that's gonna be a day. All right, so I've deciphered two of these. There's one, two, and then on the second page, it looks like there are 1, 2, 3 more messages to decipher. That should be easy enough to do tonight. Let's see, I think while I'm doing that, let me take a look at, turn the brightness down on this because my battery is a little low. Let me take a look at the Rosemary Kent's website again. So kentcase.com. So last time I only signed in. Oh, she password protected it again. So many people always using the website to harass her and send all sorts of inane reports about witches and whatnot. All right. So I think there's just one message on here since the last time. No. These are all new. They definitely follow a theme, so I can read some of these later. Um, see any new photos? I think it's just the one. Liam's missing poster, but it looks like there's a new Good Fences, which is like a neighborly kind of thing. Wicked Woods. I advise that no one set foot in the Black Hills Forest. Lately, when I go on hikes in those woods, I notice the trees are different. They aren't in the same places I remember. I know those woods. I've been taking hikes there every Sunday morning for the past 2 hours. I know them like the back of my hand. But lately, it seems almost as if the trees move around when I'm not looking, and that the path I always follow, never takes me to the same place twice. Was Donald Cohen? Sounds to me like you're having a few down at Patrick's before your hikes. Piss off, Alexander. I know what I'm seeing. I believe you, Donnie. Something's wrong with those woods, and it has been for centuries. You know, I've had nightmares about them ever since I was a little girl. About lurking, hairy creatures and trees whose branches carve into my skin like knives. I've been dreaming things like that since I was 5 years old, which was a long time before I ever heard any of the stories about that place. There's no earthly explanation for that. And then Elias White said, I was just out in the forest for the first time fishing with my son, and he wouldn't stop begging me to leave. Said he saw a woman staring at us. I didn't see a thing. So we moved downstream. After settling in the new spot, my son began screaming and crying. Again, he said he saw the same figure hanging from a tree. And every time I looked, there was nothing there. He's usually such a level-headed kid, I don't know if the woods are cursed, but I won't be going back. Andrea Tan said, you're just searching for a reason where it might not exist. People have strange dreams when they're stressed out, or when they're sleep deprived, or when they eat something that doesn't entirely agree with them before bed. I don't think the Black Hills Forest is wicked or cursed or anything like that. And how do you explain the trees? How do you explain the missing Kent kid? You know my cousin Michelle? This is Diane Moss. She was hanging around the History Museum the other day, and she overheard Anthony Rapinoe talking on the phone to someone about an investigator from out of town. Not sure what he meant by that. Maybe FBI? Finding new evidence that proved Liam was hanging out in the History Museum before he disappeared. Apparently, he sounded pretty upset. I don't know why Sheriff Lanning hasn't brought him in for further questioning. Melvin Hawthorne. Probably because it's a lost cause. That boy has been gone for months. There's no point in questioning anybody anymore. Elliot Colson. No, those symbols are sigils. I'm telling you all, it's the witch. And then we've got some messages from Rosemary. I do not have the energy to read a grieving mother's messages tonight, but we're going to flag those to do next time. Let's see. So I can continue deciphering these. Turn this off. There we go. And then I think this is the same, this little wooden figure. Okay, that just gives me the heebie-jeebies. It looks like 4 letters, though. Right? I wonder if that's something we can use to help figure out the cipher. Okay. So, last session, I mentioned couple of things that I think might be a start for this cipher. And one of them is right here. Liam asks, "You're not the Blair Witch?" And then there is what looks like a 2-letter word in response. And then here, Liam asks, "Who are you? Answer me or I'll call the cops." And then there's, again, what looks like a 2-letter word with an apostrophe. So that has to be the word I'm, I apostrophe M. And then the next word, it's hard to tell with these like sigils whether that's 3 or 4 letters. But I was just thinking, if you look, these two symbols here are identical to these two symbols here, right? So let's say this is no. Some guy suggested it could also be ha, which is definitely a possibility, but let's go with no, right? So if this is I'm and O, let's assume that this is one symbol instead of two, although this vertical line could very well be its own letter. This could be the word not, right? I'm not. And that would give us a start at least. And the incident report from Anthony Rapinoe also had these same 2 words. Oh, this is not very clear at all, but it's the same 2 words for the first 2. So this could also be I'm not something. Okay? I'm not something. So I'm going to get another piece of paper, I think. I think it would be better to have one piece of paper per cipher. So in that case, my daughter, I don't know if she had a sense that I was chasing some sort of false lead or what, but she colored all over my other piece of paper that I started last week. So I think I gotta get this guy out of my face. He's creeping me out. So I think I'm gonna need 2 more pieces of paper to take notes on. While we're doing that, let's get a little mood music. Hmm. So I think the best way to solve this kind of cipher is to, assuming it's just a one-to-one English letter substitution, is just to write down the alphabet A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. All right. And then to the right of this, I can write down the symbols that I think correspond to those letters. The way I was doing it last time was very haphazard. I was basically just writing symbols and letters next to each other when I thought I made a match, but not very useful at all. But we'll do the same thing here too. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. Very good. All right. So I am almost 100% positive that the letter I is represented by this symbol here. Looks like a square with two of the corners missing. Pretty sure that is the letter I. And then I'm also almost positive that the letter M is represented by this one, which looks remarkably similar. And then we're going to go out on a limb and say that this next word here is the word not, N-O-T. This one that looks like a backwards P would then be the O. And I'm actually going to take a look through here and see if I can't. All right, so this symbol again. So I was trying to determine if this was one letter or two. This vertical line with a backwards K. But I see it here again. And I see it here again and again. So I'm positive this vertical line with a backwards K is one letter. And that is the letter T. Vertical line with a backwards K.
To help you settle in faster. Download at Grammarly.com. Try it today.
So far I've got the first message partially translated. I'm not. Okay. This phrase down here. Okay, so that took me forever to work out, but I think I get it now. Blank, blank. So he's asking a question. The second word begins with the letter T, and the third letter is I. So this must be the word this, right? And this one, the second letter is I. This is the phrase like this. So now I've got the 3 circles is L, and the circle over a triangle is K. Oh man, I did not leave enough space between each letter for this. And then E would be what looks like a little table like that. And the H looks like it is, I guess, I don't know what you would call that. Like a fish hook, kind of. And then the S is an upside down power button. Like so. Okay. All right, so now we can see if we can decipher this first complete message. It says, I'm not. Then there's a symbol I don't know yet. Then E. Then 2 more symbols. And then T. One I don't know. L. K. One I don't know. T. I. I don't know. E. I'm not blank E. I'll put like a little dot underneath to show that there's a missing letter. Blank, blank. T. Blank. L. K. So it's got to be talk, right? But it's a really long word. And then one I don't know. T. I. One I don't know. And E. And it's not an M. Talkative, right? Yes. So I'm not very talkative. That's got to be it, right? I'm not very talkative. So the A is this? Oh, that one also looks like a fish hook. But this is like a Maui fish hook from Moana. Oh, all right, like that. It doesn't look great, but hopefully I'll recognize it. So this is talkative. So V kind of looks like a B, like a letter B. Like that. Let's see. And if I'm right, yep, that V is again at the beginning of this word, and then RY. So Y looks like two arrows pointing to the right. And then the R is a little cup of tea with a spoon coming out of it and some steam. Like so. I'm not very talkative. Oh, that's great. I'm doing very well now. So with that, now I can see, I've got a pretty good chunk of the letters. I'm going to see if I can decipher this message from Anthony Rapinoe's incident report. Let's put that one at the bottom of the page so we leave room for all of the messages from the letters. So this is definitely I'm not. Same first two words, right? I'm not. It's definitely a symbol I don't know. And then an I. And then it's hard to, is that an N? I think that's an N. It looks a little different from the N's on here, but I think it's the same. So this is an N on this note here. And then this is the N here. And then I, and I know that one, the upside down power button. That's S. I'm guessing that's probably I'm not finished. Right? Do I have an H yet? Oh, that is the H. I'm not finished. E. Do I have the D? I don't have the D. But that's got to be the word finished. So I've got. So that means that this crazy symbol is an F. I have no words to describe this. It looks like a mountain with an upside down pyramid floating on top of it. Right? Man, I had a viewer earlier who was leaving some nice messages in the chat. Some guy. It would be real nice if the viewer now would leave some nice messages. All right, so it's definitely the F, and I'm just going to go out on a limb and say that this is the D, which would mean that symbol that looks very similar to the one that I already have for the V would then be a D. I'm not finished. And then I'm going to guess that that's a Y, so it's going to be the word yet. I'm not finished yet. So I'm going to read this note again in context. Things, the voice said my name. I called up back to it, saying something along the lines of, "Who's there? The museum is closed. You need to leave." I received no response for a long moment, but then I heard what was clearly the sound of laughter echoing up from the basement. At that point, because I was feeling more than a little spooked, I grabbed the heaviest object on my desk as a potential weapon. It was a volume of the encyclopedia. Then I followed the ominous noise to the basement door. When I reached the locked door, I could clearly hear someone or something moving around mere inches behind it. There was a slow scratching noise like metal on wood. When I opened the door, all I could see was the empty stairwell leading down into pitch darkness. I heard footsteps shuffling around in there somewhere. I loudly called the museum is closed, that anyone present would have to leave immediately. The sound of footsteps continued and started to head up the stairs toward me. I chucked the encyclopedia down the stairs as hard as I could, slammed the basement door shut, called the sheriff, and then after the sheriff left, I noticed this message carved into a section of the topmost basement stair. "I'm not finished yet." Definitely creepy. Still doesn't tell me who that person is, though. But we do know that they're not very talkative and they're not finished yet. So I guess let's continue deciphering these. I'm not very talkative. All right, the next word. Do I know any of these symbols? I know that one. Is that the fishhook one? Yeah. Like the Maui fishhook? I mean, it's a little bit more curly in that message. Here. The second set of symbols. Pretty sure that's the same. So that's going to be an A. So it's a letter I don't know. A. And then, I do know that one. That's N. Y. Is this a backwards P? Have I done that one? I don't know if that's the same as one that I've done yet. It says the backward P was an O. Oh, yeah. I've definitely done the O. Y-O. I'm almost positive that's a U, right? What other word starts with Y-O? We'll leave it blank for now, though. Y-O. Then blank. Is that the N again? It's got to be a U. And then that's a D. All right, so I'm pretty sure this message is, can you understand? All right, so let's add in these letters. C is the one that looks like funky T with a line on top of it. So really did a really bad job of drawing that one, but and then the U is a bit like a very boxy upside down, or boxy lowercase q, I guess. All right, so if I'm reading this correctly, that would be E for sure. And then I know that one, that's an R. And then do I know S? And that's S for sure. T. And that's an A. And an N. And then that's got to be a D, right? And you understand this. Can you understand this? All right, so he says, answer or I'll stop coming up into the woods. I'm not very talkative. What does that mean? Can you understand this? And then we have a series of question marks indicating he did not understand. Let's see what the next message was. I know, baby. I know. There's a strange noise outside. My dog is not having it. All right. Then we've got the letter C. O. I know this one. M. E. Come on. T. Where's my rice? Try. A. L. I. T. T. L. E. That's got to be harder, right? Try a little. There's my H. H. A. R. D. E. R. I know that one too. K. N. O. And I've got a new symbol here, which looks like a W. It quacks like a W. It's got to be the letter W. It's this one, trying to do it sort of right near the middle of the screen that looks like a fire. That's got to be the letter W. So it's a dot and then 3 lines and another dot. It looks like a fire or an angry man. I know it's got to be U. Can do it. Okay, so that took me forever to work out, but I think I get it now. Like this. Okay. Got more deciphering to do. I did not anticipate doing all of this deciphering tonight, but I was actually able to figure it out. Once you've got like half the letters, it becomes very, very easy. It's getting those first letters that's hard. So this is going to be a Y. E. That makes sense. Y E S. Yeah. Yes. T H A T apostrophe S I T V E R Y C. Oh, what was the 3 circles again? L. Very. I'm gonna guess that's clever. E V E R. You know, R does look like a bowl of rice. Y O. Is that a U? you are. Oh, your father, right? Your father guy's talking about Liam's father. It must, right? Must. I know this one. Must have. Blank EEN. B. It's got to be a B, right? Bin. What the heck kind of symbol is this, though? It's like the letter C with then 3 lines. Like almost like a letter C and a letter E mixed together. Must have been very. This guy really likes to use the word very. Blank. ROUD. Proud. All right, so I get it now. Like this? Yes, that's it. Very clever. Your father must have been very proud. I think he was, or at least I hope so. You know, I thought you were him at first. See you out in the forest, out near where it happened, and I think about all the stories that are about this place. There's tons of evidence that time and space don't work out here like they do everywhere else. Even my dad would say so sometimes. Plus, I mean, if people can vanish so easily in the forest without any explanation, why shouldn't they be able to reappear too? They almost never find bodies when people go missing, even when they search for months and months. I figured that might mean that people who die in the forest don't really die. I guess I was wrong, though. It's a very interesting theory, Liam. I wouldn't be so quick to discount it. You know my name? Does that frighten you? But what are you doing then? What are you? I'm more of an absence than a presence. More deciphering. All right. Notawt. Oh, no. WITCH. NOTA HU MAN. NOTAFOE. TALO. No. LI. V E N O T D E A D D E A D. What are you? I'm more an absence than a presence. Not a witch, not a human, not a friend, not a foe, not alive, not dead. You're not the Blair Witch? No. All right, so I think the actual interesting part of deciphering this cipher has passed. I'm got a few more letters to go, but I think I pretty much have figured out the code, and now it's just the somewhat less interesting part of writing it all down. Same thing with the Pigpen cipher from Hudson's letters. So I think I'm going to save the rest of it for the next time because it is getting rather late. Maybe I'll be able to stop in tomorrow. But before I go, I do want to take one more look at this. We had some coded messages here. I was trying to figure out what the heck they could be. I got part of the way through deciphering them with my pen. Here it is. I got part of the way through deciphering them last time. But did not get really any even full words done. I do not think that these coded messages are showing up on this camera as well as they did on the phone. So you're just going to have to take my word for it that they are there. All right, so again, I'm going to have to... Actually, I think there was some here as well. Let me see what cipher is being used here. The one from the woods. Yeah. All right, so next time, I'm going to actually write it down here on a piece of paper so I don't forget it. Let's see. For the next time, I need to, 1, finish deciphering Liam's messages from the Untold Tales. 2, read History Museum pamphlet. 3, decipher hidden messages. And pamphlet. 4, I need to read Rosemary's blog posts. on her website. And then 5, solve the case. Obviously, I need to finish deciphering these other ones as well, but those are not going to be a big issue. These ones are going to be a pain in the butt because my UV light is very, very weak. So it's hard to get these things written down. Once I have the code cracked, I think it'll be much easier to actually decipher them. So actually, I think I might, instead of writing all of these down on a piece of paper, I mean, it's got to be, the crazy thing is, he says where to find out more. I'm going to see if turning this light off helps. This is where to find out more. I guess the blank, still my best bet. It's got to be the word museum. Except that's not the right amount of letters for museum. I don't think I'm going to solve this one tonight. It's so frustrating. Like I'm sure that I have some of the letters, but like it's got to be H has got to be S. So, is it apostrophe H? That's got to be S, right? Actually, we're going to do this one the other way around. We're going to put the ciphertext on the left and the deciphered text on the right. That's got to be S. So what if I just did like a, what do you call it? Like if I just shifted all of the letters over by a certain amount. Let's see. So they call this the Caesar cipher. So I'm positive that this cipher is either Caesar cipher or simple substitution. If it's Caesar cipher, it will be very easy to solve. So let's actually do Caesar cipher. I'm positive there are, very easy ones for this on the web. So let me put in the word YZHV NVMGH. YZHV NVMGH. the big problem here also is that their handwriting is not 100% clear all the time about like what's a G, what's an H, what's an N, what's an H. Okay, it's definitely not a Caesar cipher. All right. Well, like I said, I think a strong cup of coffee is in order. This was actually quite a lot longer than I was planning on working on this evening anyway. So hopefully I'm able to sleep tonight. I just don't know what's happening with these weird dreams. Pretty much ever since I started on this case last week. But hopefully tonight's better. Start the next day refreshed. We'll either be doing it tomorrow or hopefully I'll find some time in the next week. All right. Wish me luck. If you have any ideas about this particular one, which I believe is just a simple substitution, but it's just like, I don't know. I feel like this one word that should be like the key, perhaps the blanks still my best bet. This one word that should be the key, it does not seem like it could possibly be a word in the English language. So that's what keeps, like, it's the brick wall I keep butting my head up against. All right. I'm going to close out the case for tonight, though. We're going to put everything away and we'll come back fresh tomorrow.